Hello, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's, Thursday, January 25th, 2024, and I'm here with the Stitch With Me video. I haven't been able to do one of these in a long time, but it just kind of worked out really well, and I had a request a while back about somebody wanted to see me stitching on a montage piece. This is Winter Montage by Janet Stever, artwork charted by Pain Free Crafts. And it just so happens that my husband was going to lunch with a friend, and this was my Bringo call for today, so let's work on it. It worked out great. I normally can't do Stitch With Me's during the day, or at all, really. I can't do Stitch With Me's very often because my husband works from home, and I don't like talking to you guys while he's in the other room, and he's on a lot of calls too, so it would be distracting, I think. But here we are. I'm going to pull it up on Pattern Keeper, figure out what color I need to do first. Should have done this before I started, sorry. So I am working this piece in this is 28 count white Lugana 1/1 full cross, and I'm stitching this top section with like from left to right. So I'm choosing symbols in each 10 by 10 square as I go down. This is the bottom of this little section of the pattern. There's like a border here, I guess. And so there's still a few symbols right here that aren't done yet. And so I'll choose those colors first, one strand of them, and then work them wherever they occur, pick another one strand wherever it goes, and then I'll come back up here and pick the next one in the next 10 by 10 square. Not sure how far we'll get here today, but pardon my throat. I haven't been talking much today, I guess. So here we go. The first one, those are two different colors. For some reason, Pain Free Crafts charts in Pattern Keeper take a while for the symbols to load, so you can't always see, like if you've moved the screen around, so you can't always see what you're doing immediately. But so first color I'll work on is 732. So I'll pull out my double-sided floss box. You can find these on Amazon, and I have the whole set of DMC in here. So 732. So I use this, I just worked from my master set for all full coverage pieces. I usually have these cut to a 4-foot length, because if I'm doing something with 2 strands, I like to do a long piece with a loop start so that it's a 2-foot working length. This is I'm doing this 1/1. They're tiny stitches, so I will at the very least cut this in half, so it's only a 2-foot length total. I will look around on Pattern Keeper. I'll show you just a little bit. See, this is the first symbol I'm going to do, and there's some over here. I want to look around just a little bit. Oh, there's some in the leaf and some other leaves. So there's a good amount to do with this color. If there was only a few stitches of it, I would maybe cut it down into a quarter of this 4-foot length and only use 1 foot, because I would know it's not gonna, I will not need that need that much floss, and so then I could just stitch the 1-foot length until it's done and be good to go. So here we go. I'm just gonna put this away now because I won't need that one again for a while. Let me maybe put this over here. It'd be easy to see on that side. And I run my needle under previous stitches to start. It's a little awkward trying to make it so you can see me doing that. And if you haven't seen a Stitch With Me video before, I do stitch in hand. I like to roll it up horizontally and hold it from the bottom with my left hand, and then I stitch kind of a poke and stab method with my right hand. I'm just going to fill these in. There's only 3 stitches of this symbol in that first 10 by 10 square, but I'll just keep stitching it wherever it occurs until my thread runs out. And I'm not afraid to carry. This is a full coverage piece. It's not going to show. However, because I am stitching, oh, that's not it. Because I am stitching in hand, it's pretty easy to access the back of my fabric. So, and I also don't want to pull tight or have the threads in the back pulling too tight, which if you have it on a frame or a stand, it isn't usually a problem. But for me, it could be a problem. So if I'm going to see it, I did 3 stitches here, so I'm going to jump over to this side of the berry to do more. That's, well, it's actually only like less than ½ an inch because this is 28 count, but it's a decent amount of stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and run my thread under through this berry so that I can make sure my threads aren't going to catch back here, and it won't be too, the tension will be right. It won't pull too tight when I come over to this next stitch. And I'm going to mark these off. 3 stitches complete. It's a little tricky to see here. I'm kind of looking under my camera, not in the camera. I wonder if I could, no, I need to look at it. So this piece is fun. It's going to be my seasonal Sunday piece for the month of February as well. I have one more day on it here in January, probably on the 31st, as well as today. So I'll get a little bit now with you and then more this evening, hopefully. So I'm hoping that I'm pretty sure I do have a few more symbols actually in this first. There's 3 more symbols in this first 10 by 10, last 10 by 10 square of the column before I can move back up to the other one, to the other next column. Okay, I'm having a hard time counting here because I'm not, the camera's in the way. Right before this, another thing that I have to pick and choose when I do it, because my husband is working from home, is cutting fabric and serging it for a new project. So, because my serger and sewing machine are in the same room as him. So again, with making noise and stuff while he's on conference calls, not helpful. So I tend to do that like when he's on lunch break or after work. But so when he left, that's the first thing I did, is I cut fabric and serged it for my new start I'm going to have tomorrow, which is really fun. I'm going to be starting the Quaker flag by Vivsters on Etsy. I'm going to do the USA flag. She has flags from all different countries. And the Australian stitchers are starting, well, they're starting on their 26th because it's Australia Day. I'm in the West Coast, so I think their 26th might already be over. And it's like noon here. I'm not really sure, but they're so far ahead of us. We're kind of polar opposites with our time zones. But so most of them have probably already started, but I'm going to be starting that tomorrow. And I'm excited. I'm doing it on 40 count vintage country mocha, 1/2, or yeah, 1/2. And I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be pretty. I'm planning to start it in the top middle so that I can kind of get to a red block and a blue and white block, so I don't have to do just the blue and white blocks for a while with the top of the flag. Top left corner is the typical place to start, but I thought that would be... I want to get to some of the other ones too, because the American flag she has is not full coverage. A lot of the other ones are. This one is only full coverage in the blue and white, like stars section. The stripes are, you can see fabric showing through around the white and red motifs for the stripes. So thought it'd be fun to see the vintage country mocha fabric and not have as much stitching to do. That's always good. And it works in Pattern Keeper as well, so that's fun. This is this symbol I'm working on right now in this pattern. I'm actually really glad I have Pattern Keeper for, because there's another symbol right next to it that's literally the same. I don't know what the difference is. Oh, maybe this one has a dot in the middle. Seeing that with the naked eye, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So I'm really glad that Pattern Keeper can tell me what's what and where to stitch this color, because that's really crazy. This one's a few stitches away. So this pattern, or this project today, will complete my Bringo board. I've been playing the Bringo game in Magazine Monthly Challenge Facebook group. Not officially, because I don't like posting pictures of my progress. I just want to stitch. But it's been fun to have a new project pulled every day. And this will be a blackout after I finish, after I get at least 100 stitches on this today, which I will, most likely. So now I have a decision to make, which I think I'm going to go up. But there's more stitches this way of this color, but there's also some here. And since I am picking symbols from the left to the right in this particular piece, I think I'm going to hop up here and finish this color in the bottom of this leaf before heading this way, because if I keep going down here, I'll go really far with this string, but I'll still need to pull this color out again when I get to this point in my symbol picking. So I think I'd rather fill in closer to the left first than go this way. So if I go up here, fill this in, I still have some on my needle, I can either pop over to this leaf and do that, or cut it off and come back over here. So that's kind of, I think I'm going to head up, because I like to fill in as much as I can close to where I'm picking symbols. So if I'm stitching typewriter along the top, that'll be it, you just like shift it. So I would try to stay as close to the top as I can, but right now I'm staying as close to the left as I can. So I'm gonna put my finger there. I'm gonna run my thread up to the bottom of this leaf. It's not that far, it's still less than an inch. But I think that direction will be better for my completing things along the way a little bit faster. So I'm actually, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I do stitch upside down, stitch the symbols upside down I don't twist my fabric to stitch upside down, but if I am traveling, the way my stitches usually lie, it works best to work from the top down. If I need to work from the bottom up like this, I'm starting here and I'm kind of going up, I will just reverse how I make my stitches. And I kind of do that a lot. So my brain just flips them automatically and it doesn't, I'm used to it by now. I guess I've done that enough. If I have to stitch up a row or a column, then I just make the stitch opposite, like the upside down opposite of what I usually do. So I'm starting in the top and going down in the bottom, which is opposite from what I usually stitch, but it works. So yeah, this is 28 count over 1, and I don't personally have a problem with my stitches slipping unless I pull super tight for whatever reason. If there's a knot that I'm trying to get out and it ends up pulling tight. Because my tension is already very loose, because I'm stitching in hand, it's not generally a problem for me. I know some people have a lot of trouble with their stitches slipping. And I think it's mainly due to tension, because a lot of people are used to pulling tighter if they have their stitching on a frame in the first place. So if you're having that trouble, I think I have heard, well, for one, try stitching with a little bit looser tension. And also something I've heard, I'm not 100% sure, is to make your stitches one stitch at a time instead of like half, 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 and then come back doing it finishing your stitches down the row. If you stitch one stitch at a time over one, it can help that stitches slipping. I think there's also some sort of formula for where to start your first stitch or what have you, but in something like this with full coverage, you're not going to be stitching the exact same like way with every stitch because you're stitching confetti all over the place. I'm not really sure how those kind of formulas really help you, and since it doesn't affect me really, I haven't bothered to look into it, so I can't be of much help where that's concerned. And this color I already had worked in this leaf up here. So like these, I think a lot of this color is already the one I'm using right now. So I have already stitched some of that in this leaf. I'm just kind of finishing it in the leaf. So I must have run out of my thread, come down the leaf and run out of the thread right about here. So now I'm coming up from the bottom to finish it off. So that's nice. This leaf will be a little bit more complete. Oops. I accidentally went in the wrong hole, and then because it's confetti, I went, see if I can thread this on the camera. I couldn't undo it with just my needle, so I had to pull it out and rethread it. That's what happens sometimes. Let's go. This one is up here. Let's mark these off. We're already at 37 stitches. So this piece is currently at 2.12%. And I am not worried about it. I know I have a lot of large pieces, but these are things that I think would be fun to work on all the time. Like, I don't really expect this to get done anytime soon. It'll be fun to pull it out every season, get a little bit more on it, and it's the process, the joy of the process that I just have fun putting stitches in. And let's see, let's figure out my path. I guess I could go up the edge there. So I'm going to come down to here. So yeah, the this is definitely a process project. I have some projects that I do want to get finished, and I start them with the intention of finishing them. But then there's other things that it's like, I just want to enjoy working on it. And that's enough for me. I know it's not enough for everybody, but we're all different, right? I've seen there's some new Amy Stewart designs that have been released recently that look pretty fun. And again, I have no business starting another Amy Stewart because they're so detailed. Right. But there's one that is like fair food, which I think is so much fun. It's got like a hamburger and hot dog and french fries and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then there's another one that just came out that's got holiday sugar cookies. So fun, and hot chocolate and gingerbread and all that kind of stuff. So I put them both on my wish list. There was recently a sale on Heaven and Earth Designs, but I don't want to buy more at the moment, because for me, as a self-proclaimed serial starter, if I buy a pattern or a kit, I feel this need to start it right then. And I don't want to start any more full coverages right now. I have a full slot of, probably more full than it should be, slot of starts this year. I already have a few set to start next year, patterns in general. So I don't need anything else. Because if I buy another one, then I'm going to want to start another one. And then if I don't have room to start it, it'll just sit there and I'll be sad and I won't, it might get forgotten and won't get started. So why buy it? So I do wait to buy stuff until I'm closer to needing to start something, but I just got a text from my son, so we'll see if I have to help him. All right, so I'm done with this leaf. Where, I guess I can, I'm going to go over to this leaf and get started over here. Path evolves as you go to be the most efficient. I like to stitch efficiently and logically. Follow the path of the stitches. It's always very fun. And I'm going to go down. There's a few scattered down the edge and then kind of back up in the middle. So I'm going to go down the edge and back up the middle. Okay, let me pause and just make sure my son doesn't need something. All right, back. Let's see. I'm gonna head down a little bit more. And yeah, the main reason why I run stitches under as I'm carrying is so that I can make sure the tension stays good. Make sure this is in the right spot. And sometimes, like in this case, I will count again just to make sure things are accurate. So I'll double check on the pattern. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There should be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. Did I count that right? Oh, I didn't count it this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. I do that where I double check. See all these scattered things throughout here. I'm always double checking as I'm stitching, just to make sure things were counted right last time, that I'm still on track this time. That's how I kind of keep from making any major mistakes. Or if I have made a mistake, I can catch it before there's too much filled in around it that it's hard to take out. So over here, the counting is a lot easier because there's a lot more filled in, but especially when I'm hopping around in the less densely stitched area, I like to double, triple check my counts as I go around and get closer to new areas. Marking off on pattern keeper. Keep going down the leaf. Getting close to the end of my thread. This was a 2-foot long piece of thread, but because I'm hopping around a little bit, it does eat up some thread that way, but not as much thread as if I were to start and stop each time I wanted to hop around. That would waste even more thread and more time. So this is 3 down, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Maybe I'll do this other one first. Exactly 2 over. Mark this. So here we're at another area, making sure 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 6 away from this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far, so good. Nope, not there. Let's see. Right underneath this guy. When I don't have as many stitches, I do still need to, when I'm carrying, I do still need to have an extra light tension when I'm carrying, just to make sure I don't pull the fabric. All right, now we're going to go back up the center of the leaf. There's not a whole lot to carry your thread under, but I still do what I can. Let's see, 4 away from this one. Oh, we just got a package. What do you know? Yeah, I'm not super chatty today. I'm not quite sure what to talk about, but hopefully it's fun just to watch the stitching. There's a Zoom meeting on Zoom meetup on Saturday with the Magazine Monthly Challenge group. I think this month might work to do that. I've only been on a couple times in the past, but I think it might be a good week to try that. Saturdays tend to be family days, so a lot of times I can't take time away for that, but we'll see. It might not work. But it's always fun to chat with stitchers. And I tend to be able to stitch and chat pretty well. If I'm actively talking, obviously I slow down or stop stitching, but I tend to do a lot of listening as well, so. All right, that's 3 away from that one, so we're still good. And I'm getting very close to the end of my thread. I think I could do another stitch or two. What's funny is going from this kind of stitching, 1/1, to bigger stitching, like 2/2 on 32 count or what have you, and realizing how few stitches I can get out of one length of thread as compared to this. It's like, oh, well, I guess I'm done with my thread already. Oh no, about to undo it. Playing a little bit of thread chicken, but like I said, I like to be efficient. But yeah, this is now, let's see, I'll give you a stitch count when we're done with this thread here. How much I was able to do with the one thread. With a decent amount of counting involved. I think I could do one more right here. All right, that's a good stopping point, I think. So I'll just run my thread under several finished stitches. And that's all I have left. Success. All right, so 74 stitches with that one piece of thread. So that's pretty cool. The next color, another dark one, that's 730. It's a little dark, 2 away from this one. This was 732. So I'll pull out a thread of this. There's already a decent length on here. It's like maybe 1.5 feet, 18 inches-ish. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, 730. So I'll just, if I have a length like that on the bobbin that's already close to a good size, I'll just go ahead and use it. Doesn't have to be exact. I am frugal and I use what I have. So all right, back over here to keep filling in. And then these, this down here is all one symbol. These three is the very edge of the 10 by 10 block, and there's two symbols in there. That's one symbol, and then these two are another symbol. So I probably won't show all of that in this video because I'll probably, you know, well, I don't know. I guess it's, oh, it says it's only been 8 minutes, but I did have a couple breaks in there, so it's been longer than that. Come on. Gets a little thick in the back sometimes, so it's harder to find your hole. Most of the time it's not too bad. It's always fun to get stuff filled in, to look complete, be able to step back and be like, ooh, yeah, that looks nice. Should probably think about having lunch at some point. But I gotta take advantage of my husband not being here so I can stitch and talk with you guys. It's been a long time. I'm gonna pop down here, get this stitch, then go back up to the top. Or not top, but back up to the line I was working on. So after Bringo, my plans for the rest of January, I mentioned in my update video on Tuesday, I'll be starting that flag tomorrow, and I would like to give it 2 days because everything this year is getting 2 days at least. So I'll work on that Friday and Saturday, and then I'll work on my secret stitch for 2 days. Possibly get it done. We'll see. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then I'll work on African Woman with Peonies on Tuesday, I guess. And then Wednesday I'll work on this one more time. Then it will be the 1st. And I actually have another start planned for the 1st. For my February start, I have a start picked out for each month this year. And it's a Jardin Privé pattern, sampler of flowers, and I'm excited about that. That's going to be on 40 count linen also, with some Soie d'Alger silks because I wanted to try silks. I heard they were a little bit thicker than DMC, so on 40 count 1/2 they can be a little bit better coverage. So I'm excited to try that. And since it was a pattern that didn't have a ton of colors, it's a good one to try it on, since silk's more expensive. This corner is getting all filled in. It's very exciting. Moving on. Now I see this, some of this color is down here, but I have chosen, in order to concentrate my efforts and complete things a little quicker, I've chosen to restrain myself to just this block. And you will see right here, actually, there's like one stitch that's below the shelf. But I think that was probably like there was no more of that stitch color anywhere, and it was silly not to do it. Whereas this color, there's a good amount over here, so it'll be fine to just pull this color out when I am doing that block and work it then. So, but if there's just one really close that's not anywhere else, I'll go ahead and do it. But generally, I am sticking to this one little section of the chart, so I can see some progress. This first leaf, I think, is pretty much done. There's one right there on the edge of it. So once I finish these two colors, there's that one, that one, that one. You know, there's a few, and then some down here that I'll be able to work on before I come. We'll see. I'm curious to see how far I'll get before I put this project away for the winter. So I will bring out this. I'll see this in February as well as December. No, just kidding. These two were only getting 2 months each. And then I'll do my Celtic Ladies one of the months in the season. So I'll do Celtic Ladies in December. But March, I believe, I'll be doing my Celtic Ladies for spring. And then I'll pull my spring montage out in April and May. Then I'll do Celtic Ladies Summer in June. And Summer Montage in July and August. Then Celtic Ladies Autumn in September, and the Autumn Montage in October and November, and then the Celtic Ladies Winter in December. And then back to this for January and February next year. So that's going to be fun. I like working that way. I have other seasonal pieces that I'd like to do as well. I have some that are Teresa Wensler seasonal samplers, and I have those seasonal crosses that I've kind of decommissioned temporarily. But there's only so many seasonal pieces I can work on at a time, and I'm really enjoying these right now. And the Celtic Ladies. I'm guessing the Celtic Ladies will be done first, because I'm doing the collage. I'm not doing the all four full designs. When that is done, I'm guessing I can bring back my crosses or start the Teresa Wensler ones, something like that, to give those some time in addition to these, because these are going to be here forever. Let's face it. But that's fine. I like working on them, so it's fun to know I have something like this I can enjoy for years to come. So this one, I don't even know if it was up in... No, there was no symbols of this color up in the leaf. I either already stitched them or they didn't exist. So, but there was still more just along the bottom here. So I'm just going to skip and jump until I finish my thread along the bottom, filling in all this color. And then as I get to these areas, as I'm filling it in, that color will already be done. And it will be less confetti to do later. So that's what I like about this typewriter type stitching. It indulges my need for cross-country stitching, where with Pattern Keeper, I see the symbols, all the symbols that belong, all the stitches that belong to that symbol are all highlighted. So I can see at a glance where they all are, and I just need to follow that. I need to follow the path. I can't stop if there's some in the next block. I just want to keep going. So this is a nice way to indulge my cross-country stitching needs while also seeing some significant progress, like things fully filled in. And it really does help me personally tackle confetti because it minimizes the decision-making process for wondering what to work on. Let's see, how should I tackle this? Maybe I'll just do one at a time here. Because I'm just heading over to the right, I have some I could do, you know, do a half, 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 and then come back, but I don't think I will, because if I come this way and then back, there's nothing more over here. So I'm just going to keep doing one X at a time so I end up in the direction that I'm going. So that's what I'll do. What was I talking about? Yeah, the typewriter method, I think, is what I was talking about. It fulfills my desire for cross-country while also seeing some finished stitching. Yes, and it takes away the decision-making process for confetti of which one of all of these many symbols should I work on next. I don't want to work on any of them because they all only have a couple stitches right here, and it's going to be annoying to have to count them. And you kind of look at the confetti like that sometimes, at least I do. Like, do I really have to stitch this color? But when I'm picking symbols within the block, I'm motivated to get that block finished, so I'm motivated to just suck it up, pull the color. If it's only got 2 stitches in that area, so be it. I do the 2 stitches, go on to the next one, and enjoy seeing something filled in. And best case scenario, some of the colors, you know, keep going into the other blocks so that when I get there, they're already done. And I have less confetti to do on the future blocks. So it works for me. I really like it. And I have noticed there's been a few people who have tried it and like it too. So that's nice. Again, nearing the end of my thread. Just a few more stitches. Maybe I'll go ahead and do the this method now, because it is a little less thread waste, so I can try to get all these last few in before I have to cut it off. It's for the benefit of the thread chicken. All right. Let's go over here. That wasn't quite enough stitches. Another little tiny one left over. So that's fun. Now, can mark those off, and we're at 124 stitches completed since I started talking to you. So let's look and see what these next symbols are. More here along the bottom. Oh, there's a lot more in the leaf too. Ooh, cool. So now I'm torn. Let's see. I guess I'll do a few. There's a few scattered, just a few scattered down here, but there's a lot in the leaf. And even some of these up here are that color. So I'm gonna do this one first because this is the one that is in this first 10 by 10 column, and then do maybe through this bunch of berries, and I'm going to cut it off and work up here. Assuming I can find a long enough piece of thread to make that, sorry, to make that make sense. So this is 581. Oh yeah, this isn't even cut yet. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a new. I have this like 6-inch ruler that I keep in my pen cup next to my stitchy chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I cut it off 4-foot length so that now this color has a 4-foot length on the bobbin that I can work from for any project. And I'm going to pull one out and cut it in half since this is a 1/1 project. Keep that one, wind this one back on. And since this is a long one, a long piece, it'll be nice to be able to fill in a good amount of this leaf. So that'll be fun. So I'll only do a few stitches down here at the bottom, which will cover me for the next few columns, but also by moving up to the top, back up here, it'll help me in the very next few columns pretty soon. So that's exciting. So I starting right here. It's already 1 o'clock, so I probably won't be able to be on here too much longer. My husband will probably come home soon. So there's another one down here. Make sure that looks as neat as it can be. And then there's another one over here. Do this one upside down. Be easier to get my needle in. Then down here, so there's just like one skipping along here along the bottom. One here, one there. Nothing significant down here. This is a major color in the leaves though. Just just a speckle here in the background. So, how much more? Go ahead and do this one here in the middle of these berries. Then I think I'll stop and move it up to the top. Alright, so mark that one. Now I'll move up to the top, and I have these two symbols, which are part of this next column, and this one, which is also in the next column, are all this color. So now I can just knock out. I'm going to start at the bottom symbol here and kind of work up and over, and then I can come down the leaf. That's my plan. But that's nice because now I have even less to do when I come back to work on this column. This is fun, and you can see this top corner is pretty much finished now. There's another stitch right here in the border that will be the next one I do when I get to this second column of 10 by 10 squares. But really, it's like already filled in right here in most of the pictures, so that's really fun. So now I'll come over to the top of the stem, and I can start working on the leaf, which is cool. Let's mark these off. Haha. So that's my husband coming home, so I should probably sign off. And I hope you enjoyed watching me. And we'll see more updates on this in my next update video. And happy stitching. Bye.